speakers present this timeless, ancient Vedic philosophy, how we can apply that in our lives as students and later on in work and throughout. We then bring people to these wonderful retreats at a venue like this. Bhaktivedanta Manor was actually donated by the Beatle, George Harrison. And it's a really amazing opportunity, as I said before, to meet like-minded people and dive deep in these workshops. So we've got stuff like yoga, cow care, Q&A with an actual monk, spiritual mantra, music meditation at the end of the day, and of course everyone's favorite, food, breakfast, lunch and dinner provided.
So before we start the day, we just want to set an intention for today and set the mood. So if I can get everyone to close their eyes. So we're going to take a deep breath in, deep breath out. We're just going to reflect on what do we want to get out of today. So many of you have come for many different reasons, and we're going to just set an intention for today. And then meditate on it throughout the day, and then check back in at the end of the day. So we call it sankalpa in Sanskrit, and it translates to heartfelt desire or intention, like I said. So some of you have come to make like-minded friends. Some of you have come to get some answers. Some of you may be here for the food. So whatever it is, just take a few seconds to reflect on what do you want to get out of today, and really think about it throughout the day. So we're going to let you do that for a second. And once you're done, you can open your eyes. Okay. So now if everyone could open their eyes, what we're going to do is turn to the person next to you. Introduce yourself, tell them your name, what university you're from, what course you're doing, whether this is your first retreat, and then also tell them about the sankalpa that you just said. So we'll give you a few minutes to share that with each other, and then we'll ask for a few of those from the audience. So chat, go.
So my sankalpa was to spend the day reflecting, but also I met a lot of people, new people in November and December, and I wanted to see them again. That's one reason, but also to just feel closer to Krishna, and Krishna's right there, so I guess I achieved it.
And what's your name and what between you?
Oh, my name is Cha. I came from Surrey.
Amazing. Big round of applause for Charles. Good job. Anyone else? Anyone feeling like sharing their reflections? Yeah. Go on.
Hello? Yeah, so, is this working?
Yeah.
I just wanted to, deepen, my spiritual connection and, really try and figure things out spiritually so that I feel like that whole thing of, you need to fill your cup first before you can fill other people's cup. I want to make sure that I'm really know what I'm talking about to people when I give them advice. So I just want to, deepen my own spiritual connection.
What's your name? What do you do?
My name is Kabalan and I'm from KCL.
Amazing. Give it up for Caroline. One last one. Lily girl.
Hello everybody, I'm Salmia, I'm from UCL. I'm new to London, so one of the main reasons I'm here is to connect with like-minded people. I find it really rare to find very spiritual, deep people like myself, so just really lucky to be surrounded by all of you. I'm very grateful. Also here to have some clarity, have some peace, just finished exams, and I really want to reconnect with my past spiritual self. It's something I'm really looking forward to going ahead. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you to all the brave souls for sharing. So first, we're going to continue this mood that we've set, and there's no one better than that. There's no one better for that than Kalki. Some of you have gotten a sneak peek of what he can do already. So let me just first introduce him. So if you don't know who Kalki is, firstly, what are you doing? He is an award-winning spiritual musical artist. I think some of you may have come to the event last term, which was Ministry of Sacred Sound, and that was facilitated by him and some other amazing musical artists. So his first musical offering, Lifetimes, actually charted in the top 10 of the iTunes UK singer-songwriter chart. And he's performed for social media icons like Jay Shetty and Russell Brand as well. And he's the founder of multiple businesses and ventures in the financial education and spiritual retreat sector. And today he's here to start us off on this spiritual journey today. So let's hear it for Kalki.
Thank you for that introduction. You'll have to tell me which awards I won. I'm not sure. All right, it was really nice to be here with everybody. And with your permission, we're just going to go deep. What do you think? Should we just go deep? Yeah, should we just take a deep spiritual journey this morning? It's very rare to find these opportunities to go deep. And I'll ask everyone to close their eyes. This is the best way for us to go deep. We're shutting off the external distractions. And take a deep breath in. In today's world, sometimes when we think of this word, God, it's almost a word that we can't say because there's so many connotations to religion and who or what God is. If we think about the number one emotion and feeling that people get, or the reason why people reject a spiritual or religious, not spiritual, but mainly religious practice, is because of what feeling? What is it that you think that people walk away from religion for? What feeling? What emotion? Quite often it's guilt. is fear. That if I do this or if I don't do that, God's going to judge me. God's going to send me to eternal hell. I was in Oxford Street the other day, and this person is shouting from the top of his lungs, "You will go to hell, you will burn in hell." And whilst he was well intended, I was thinking, who's going to take that message? Who's going to care? The real feeling we should have, the real emotion is love. God is love. And if we're not feeling love in any spiritual practice, then we need to question it. This place is called Bhaktivedanta Manor. Bhakti, this word bhakti means loving devotional service. And the root of this spiritual practice is love. The goal of this spiritual practice is love. But not just love, loving devotional service, meaning that I offer service to others. It's not just that I love God and nobody else. No, I offer service to others. Later on we'll explore this mantra. There's a mantra that we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We'll explore what this mantra means. But for now, I just want you to take a deep breath. Hold and out. We're going to breathe in through the nose. And then on the outward breath, we're going to chant Om, like that. So together, deep breath in. And out. Om. We'll do that 3 more times. Deep breath in. We're going to do that 3 more times this time. Om. So deep breath in. Keeping your eyes closed. I'm going to chant some mantras. These are sacred sounds that will enter your ear and your heart. And just allow the sound to enter into your heart. And as you do this, I want you to take your right hand and just place it on your heart. Feel that connection. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhyasya Kripa Sindho Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare So whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. So how you feeling? Feel good? Isn't it amazing how just through something simple, just closing our eyes, we're meditating, chanting some mantras, it can totally shift our consciousness. Is anyone feeling stressed at the moment? No? Is anyone feeling any tension at the moment? You feeling happy? Yeah. So as you enter the temple, when you come in, you'll see various forms of the Lord, of God. In front you can see, on the left-hand side, you can see Radha and Krishna. So in this Vedic system that we have not just the male representation of God, but the female representation of God. If you look on the left, you have Radha and Krishna. And can you see how Krishna is smiling? Krishna is playing the flute. Can you see that? And like we were talking about earlier, God means love. And whenever we see the representation of God, God is smiling. God is happy. Sometimes we hear this thing, God won't be pleased with you. Have you heard that before? If you do this, God's not going to be pleased with you. But God is always pleased. God is always smiling, always happy. Of course, there are reactions to certain things. There's this system called karma that we have. Karma means for every, just like physics, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So I do something and then there's a reaction, good, bad, etc. And that's karma. Karma takes care of that. But God is like a parent, the best parent, the ideal parent, full of love. I'm a parent. I hope I'm always full of love. My children are just there in the background. They're hiding now because they know I'm going to call on them. I don't know. You can't see. Some of you can see them. Am I always full of love? Yeah. She gave me a little yes. Thank you. Yeah. It's because they're always full of love. So. But the ideal parent is always full of love. And so God is our ideal parent. God is always full of love. And is described in our scriptures. So it's described in the scriptures. We have a scripture called the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's described there that God will take so many incarnations, as many waves as there are in the ocean. That's how many incarnations the Lord will take, just to meet us, just to help us on our path of spirituality. And the goal of this human life is simply to reconnect with the Supreme. This word yoga means connection. And it's the goal of our life to reconnect. We've had so many lifetimes. We've gone through so many universities. We've gone through so many families, so many lifetimes. And the idea is to, throughout each of those, elevate our consciousness to reconnect with the Supreme. And then as we look at the altar on the right-hand side, we have Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And Lord Ram is the ideal character. And throughout the day, you'll be hearing people chant this mantra, Hare Krishna. I'm going to ask you to do it with me, so just repeat after me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. And this mantra, you've got some beads as well that were given. You can chant this on the beads. This mantra, the meaning of this mantra is so simple. It means, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So our spiritual practice, we go to the Lord and we pray for one thing. We don't pray for, hey Lord, please give me. In fact, in India at this time when there's exams, many people will arrive at the temple and they'll give their exam, they'll give all their notes and their books and they'll say, God, please help me with my exams, which is actually a good thing. It's fine. It's like you go to your parent, you need help. But really our sincere prayer is for one thing only. The only thing that can satisfy us. What do you think that is? What's the one thing that satisfies us? Someone said money or something. What's the one thing that satisfies us? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever got anything material in this world? Like, what is the one thing that you've desired to get? Anyone? What have you desired to get? A job. Okay, so you want a job. And by the way, having a job is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. So before I dissuade you of getting a job, but you get a job. So I'll share some of my stories. So I went to Warwick Uni. There was one person that went to. I know Harsh, so it's fine. We went to Warwick. And I'm at Warwick and I'm studying, I'm working really hard, and my desire is to do what? Like, what's your name? Dipali. To get a job. And so I'm applying at all these investment firms and I'm like, I've got to get a job, I've got to get a job, I've got to get a job. Is anyone working already, or you're still students? So you know this feeling. You get the job and you're there and you have the feel-good speech, I call it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does anyone work for an investment bank here or consultancy firm or law firm. Yeah, and you get that. When you start, they give you, you probably had it at uni as well when you start. Of 10,000 people that applied to this company, you were the top 400. Or you were the top 20. Have you been told that before? Yeah? You were the future leaders of this firm. And you're like, yeah, this is me, I'm the future leader. And then you're at your desk, and then you still haven't got a login for your computer. And then 2 weeks later, your manager leaves. And then you've still not been assigned somewhere. You're like, okay, when am I going to make change? When is change going to happen? And you're still doing emails, you know, no change has happened. You're stuck, and you're like, is this my life? I'm going to see these same people every single day for the rest. Is this it now? Has anyone had that feeling yet? Yeah, sorry to depress you, those students that are looking forward to this world of work. And you go on the commute, you're in the train, everybody looks miserable. They look, because they are miserable. And this isn't a judgment on them, this is a fact. Everybody's miserable. Sorry, Dipali, to crush your dreams and hopes of getting a job. But you get that job, you get it, it's everything. I started working at Merrill Lynch on the trading floor, Bank of America now. And when I was working there, I thought, I can't do this for the rest of my life. This is depressing. Anything that we get, whatever material thing we get, is over. Looks forward to getting an Apple product? You're all students, so I know you all have Apple products. Yeah? Do you ever look, you open the box, you're like, oh, this is nice, stickers, yeah? That feeling, you've got it, and then you put it in a case, and then it looks exactly like your old iPhone. And you think, oh, it's the same thing. Whatever material thing you get, it cannot satisfy you. Whatever you do for yourself, it doesn't satisfy you. What is the one thing that you've done in your life where you feel good? Tell me what is it? And it could be different things to what I'm thinking. What was that, sorry? Travel. Okay, travel's nice, yeah. Seeing other people. Helping others. Yeah, you know when you get someone a gift for Christmas or some occasion and they really appreciate it, isn't that a beautiful thing? Versus you receiving a gift. When you give someone something and you're able to serve, that is the most wonderful thing. I'm here now serving you. I'm not getting paid for this at all. They give me a glass of water, but I'm not getting paid. My friend who's going to be speaking to you, he's a top coach in the city. He's going to be talking. He's not getting paid. We're giving up time from family, whatever, to come just to serve. And this isn't a big thing. Why? Because it fills me up. It fills me up doing service. And so the root of this devotional practice, everything we do here today, everything we do in this Krishna consciousness is based around service, but loving service. And that is the only thing that can absolutely fill you up in life. And so if you have a great experience today, think for yourself, what else can I do? How can I serve? How can I give back? To aid us in this, when we pray to God, we pray for service. And this mantra that we're going to explore, we're going to try it, and you're going to hear it today, this maha mantra, this Hare Krishna, means, please, Lord, just give me service. I don't want anything else. I want to be not your servant, but I want to be the servant of the servant. There's many people that are attracted to God, so they go to God, I'll serve God, but forget everybody else. Yeah, it's just me and God. Because God can feel that relationship that we can have. It can feel like, hey, it's just me and God. And I'll be really nice, but forget everybody else. No, actually, just like a parent, I love it when my children, and I'm saying this because they can hear it, I love it when they get on with each other, when they love each other. Can you give each other a hug? Oh, so cute. Yeah. But when they fight with each other, and you don't fight, do you? No, they don't tell lies. You don't tell lies either, do you? But when they love each other, as a parent, that's how I feel. When they're serving each other. Yesterday, one of them had a rash on their hand. So then the other bigger one got some shea butter, started putting it on her hand, making sure. And I thought, oh, that's so cute. I just wanted to capture that moment. And it's beautiful. So God consciousness, Krishna consciousness means service. And when we chant this mantra, I'm going to ask you to chant with me this Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna. We're asking God, please just give me service. I don't want anything else. All these other desires are just empty. service and a working mic stand. So it's really simple. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm going to ask you to sing with me together. Hare Krishna. Wow, beautiful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Together with me now. Hare Krishna. Really sing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. We're going to do that together again, but I want you to close your eyes. And you said you wanted to go deep, so close your eyes. As we sing, I really want you to call out that please, please God, please Krishna, whatever name you have for God, please help me find purpose. Please help me find service. We're all looking for this calling for our nature. We're always looking for how can I be fulfilled? And when we're working in our nature through service, that's how we're most fulfilled. So we're really going to call out. We're going to sing one more time as loud as we can together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and enjoy the experience. And you're going to meet some amazing people. Ask questions, be curious, challenge as much as you want. Absolutely challenge. And yeah, look forward to seeing you around. If not today, another event. So take care. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kalki. I remember the first time I heard Kalki was 2 years ago, right in your position as well. And since then, my life has changed, and I hope you guys feel that energy that it was in the air today.
Great.
Yeah. So next.
So before our flagship talk, can I request everyone to please shuffle forwards? We've still got some more people waiting outside in the flagship, so get as close as possible, get nice and cozy. Yeah. Guys, we've been sitting for quite a long time. So could everyone actually stand up? We're just going to do a quick stretch. Stretch out your legs. Arms up. Full on stretch. Stretch it out. And then when you sit down, take one step forward and then take a seat.
You guys are probably all right.
You're good. Thanks so much, man. Mind if I put it back?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Stick it around.
All right, guys, let's take a seat. Time for the next session.
All good, yeah. All good, yeah. Perfect.
So we've had this wonderful mood set by Kadu. And now it's time for our flagship talk by none other than Nanda. So Nanda is our Imperial K-12 speaker. Let's hear some love from Imperial. So Nanda was here last time with his wife. You guys were doing yoga. This time we decided to switch it up. Nanda is actually called the Lotus Coach. And he mentors and coaches top-level executives at companies like UI, Santander. So he's come to kind of present these timeless wisdom, pearls of wisdom to us. and it's applicable both to students and high-speed business executives. And he's going to be talking on the topic of finding your purpose. And Sanskrit is karma. So without further ado, can we give a huge round of applause to Nathan?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Lovely to see you all. I think the topic was actually tuning in to your inner compass, which is basically finding your purpose. But we tried to make it sound a little bit better. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you here for the first retreat, like before Christmas? Wasn't it before Christmas? When was it? When did we do that yoga thing? November. Yeah, the world has changed a lot since then, huh? Yeah, so, but generally I really like the second retreat because I feel like it's the cream of the crop. Because that first one, everyone's kind of like just exploring, come, let's go milk some cows. The real selling point, I still don't know why they use that as a selling point, but it seems to work. Cow care. And but this one, I consider it the cream of the crop because you guys are busy. You've got exams coming up, and you've been through the process. You've had lots of different Casey socks by now, and you're still stuck with it, and you've realized there's something to this. So I'm really excited to share with all of you. My background, I don't know if you did say actually, my background's in law. I spent 12 years working in the city as a corporate lawyer before becoming a coach. And so I know a little bit around just really trying to tune in and understand what is it I'm meant to be doing. But my journey in spiritual life began pretty much like you guys, over 20 years ago, like Kalki. It was 2001. I was at university. I came along to a retreat like this, heard speakers like myself sitting there just wondering, I'm getting cramp in my legs, like how long is this going to go on for, and when do we get to milk the cows? All those key questions that are probably going through your head. And it was an amazing journey for me. I loved it so much. I actually went on to do a sabbatical, so I spent a year living here as a monk, and then a few years after that, I actually got married in this exact same place as well. So I was here, but in like a big, nice Indian mandap with my wife next to me. So it feels it feels like a very, very special place for me to be back here sharing with all of you. But what I wanted to say was, for me, over the years, I've become more and more convinced that this eternal wisdom is really life-changing. For a long time, I was like, okay, this makes a bit of sense, but it's only when you really start to digest it and you really start to apply it in your life, when you notice that transformation in your heart and the raising of consciousness. And more than anything else, if we look at what's going on in the world, we will see that is what's really needed. One of the things that Kalki said, he said, everyone's looking for service and everyone's looking for purpose. Everyone's really trying to figure out, why am I here? What am I meant to be doing? What is my role in life? What have I been born to do? And he talked about, when you start a corporate job, maybe you want to be a leader. But the reality is we do need leaders, right? We need better leadership for sure. We need better leadership across the world. This isn't just in Russia, but if you look at what's going on even here, kind of the level of corruption that goes on, it's unbelievable. There's a lack of integrity. And that lack of integrity really comes from a lack of, not just a lack of moral compass, but a lack of a spiritual compass. Really connecting and understanding that this world is not there for exploitation, but this world is there for service. So I want to talk a little bit about that and obviously draw on the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. So I guess everyone here is familiar somewhat with the Bhagavad Gita. This is a conversation that took place 5,000 years ago. It's considered to be the conversation between the soul and God. Arjun, who is this warrior, and Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the divine, the personification of love. And what's really interesting about the Gita is it starts on a battlefield. Like, that always took me by surprise. I'm expecting it to start on the banks of a river somewhere. Like some whole, like there's nice, water stream going through, the sun is shining. But no, it's in the middle of a battlefield. And that's very deliberate, as you know, because the situation that Arjun experienced is something that all of us experience. We all go through this moment of confusion, dilemma, doubt, really just feeling like plagued with, I don't know what I'm meant to do. And sometimes we're going along on a particular track, and it's like this is all going according to plan. you remember? You probably remember that feeling from 2019. It was like, yeah, this is all good. And then boom, shake the room. The whole world started shaking. And, you know, I don't know if you remember. I remember it really clearly. It was like, wow, they've locked down like 100 people in Italy because of this thing called COVID. And now it's like 100,000 people. And I'm like, they're never going to lock people down here. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, this is here. This is real. And of course, all of you are thinking, all right, we're finally at the back end of this. COVID is done. The masks are coming down. Back to normality. And then Vlad, our good friend, thinks, you know what? I know what the world needs right here, right now. We need World War III. And he goes, oh, what can we do to really shake it up a little bit more? Okay, why don't we shoot at some nuclear thermal plants and see what that does? And that was the reality. That was the reality. And it's like you wake up every morning and you're like, really? Like again? Like just can't they just get it together? And it can be so frustrating for us. And it can be depressing. It can be overwhelming. It can just feel like, why? Why is this going on? And so that is the nature of the material world. And what I would say is that instead of feeling discouraged in those situations, instead of feeling depressed, the whole idea of the Bhagavad Gita is actually Arjun's going through that same situation where he's feeling so down, he's feeling so lost, he's feeling so confused. He's thinking, what is my place in the world? What am I meant to do? I can't control anything. I feel like I'm a puppet in everybody's hands. So the idea of the Gita is actually to make us feel very much empowered so that we can live a progressive life and have a real vision for how we want to lead the world. And how do we want to lead the world? We want to start by leading ourselves. We've got to take personal responsibility for our own consciousness. We have to understand what is it that I can do in terms of my own remit and who can I impact. We may not be able to impact the world, but we can certainly impact people around us. And it's why when I was 20 years old, like all of you sitting here, and I was listening to this philosophy, it was like mind-blowing for me. Because I was doing like everyone else probably does. Like I was a first-year student, so I'd hit the clubs, I'd done pretty much everything that you would expect to do in your first year. And I very much came to the realization that there is something more. And what kind of world do I want to live in? And also, what do I want my contribution to the world to be? And people may say, well, that's kind of deep, for a 20-year-old. But what I found is everyone here is very deep. And that's what I mean about you guys being the cream of the crop, because people don't think like this. People are very much thinking about very superficial things. But we are here for a reason, and we're meant to make a contribution. And Krishna consciousness, or the Bhagavad Gita, is not just a manual for the material world. It's actually an interactive map. It's actually something that we can interact with depending on our own consciousness and get more and more gems out of it. It's an amazing thing. Every single time I read it, I'm like, wow, that just blew my mind. And I've read it a number of times since the age of 20. And of course, there are many other scriptures. But each time, it goes on a new level. And the thing for me, really more than anything else, that kept me in this path was meeting people that just blew my mind. We met Kalki just now, but there are so many people you're going to meet today that are just on another level. You just sit there and you're just like, wow. Like if the world was made up of people like that, we would be in a better place. But my hope is actually that the world will be. In one sense, we know that we are in an age of darkness and degradation. In Kali Yuga, the definition of Kali Yuga is an age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Sometimes that's defined as an age of corruption and hypocrisy. And don't we see so much hypocrisy in the world? So much hypocrisy. And so when you look at that and you look at the world, you get down and you're like, really? Like the ship is sinking. Like we've already hit the iceberg, the Titanic's going down. So what's the point? But the idea is, yes, that is the way that the world is made, but it's not there to make us feel depressed or down. The idea is, what can we do? Who can we save along the way? Who can we help? And how can we stabilize the situation? So, yeah, don't become down. Just ask the big questions in life. And then you'll start to get some big answers. I had a lot of questions as a 20-year-old. And all I can say hand on heart is that Krishna consciousness answered a lot of them for me. But I want to turn to this idea of tuning in to your inner compass, really understanding what that is. So firstly, I want to get you guys talking. So yeah, you could do this just turning to the person next to you if you like. And firstly, what does that term mean to you? Tuning in to your inner compass. I'm sure there's lots and lots of words jump into your head. Words like intuition, no doubt, inner voice, so many different things. But have a word with the person next to you, and then we'll hear from some of you. So yeah, get chatting. Okay. Okay. So if I could bring you all back. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to hear from some of you now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So yeah, just raise your hand. What were the words that jumped out in your conversation when you think about this concept of tuning into your inner compass? Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Okay, so living your values, yeah, brilliant, thank you. Yeah. Nice, yeah, and we've gathered a lot of clutter along the way, haven't we? So clearing the lens, I like that idea. The idea of, really having a real sense of vision, because there's something blocking you from seeing the reality. Okay, great. Other ideas, yeah. Touching something real within us. Nice. Do you want to expand? When you say something real, what is that? Uh-huh. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, love that. Amazing. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, spiritual life is a reality. It's sometimes people are like, how are you so convinced of Krishna consciousness? I'm like, because it's real. I'm like, because you feel it. You absolutely feel it. You have this divine relationship with the absolute and connecting with yourself. And that feeling is something that is incomparable. It takes a while to get to. It's not cheap. But when you do experience it, and there's many, many people that can speak about it, you don't have to even be a particularly advanced devotee. I mean, the fact that I experience it tells you a lot. So really you can understand that it's a real thing. I love that. Thank you so much. What else? Controlling your senses. Tell me why that's important for tuning into your inner compass.
So if you control your brain, usually your mind is the key person to everything. So if your mind is stable, so as a person, you can understand the situation and work for it. So
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita is full of controlling your senses and
Yeah.
it's a human science.
Yeah.
So it's an
Yeah, no, love it. Yeah, so the idea is actually that the mind is going here, there, and everywhere, constantly flickering. And so if you can still the mind in some way, then actually through that silence you can connect to something divine. Beautiful, thank you. What else? Inner compass. Yes. Intuition, yeah, a big one, exactly. Love that, yeah.
Seeking a sense of clarity behind all the confusion that's inside.
Clarity behind confusion.
Yeah, so this is like when you've been getting so many different, I guess, objective goals in life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're getting so many standards.
Yeah.
Naturally, like seeking your own resonates within you is something that is so important, especially if it comes down to a self-basis. Because if
Yeah.
it doesn't actually click with you, but with these and others around
Yeah.
you, then you need to really think about it and see, is this a clear path for me, or is this a path
Yeah.
for others? So
Yeah. That idea of no one does you better than you. But in order to do that, you've got to figure out who you really are. And so many of us don't know who we are. And therefore, everything is difficult. Every decision is difficult because we're just going it based on other people's opinions. And, you know, as we know, the noise all around us. And I did that for 12 years. I mean, at 12 years, I was practicing as a lawyer. So that means that on top of that, there was the 3-year law degree, there was the legal practice course, there was the training contract. It was a big commitment, doing something I didn't like. And to be fair, I probably knew in my first semester of my law degree that it wasn't for me. But yeah, anyway, it takes time.
yeah, the clarity kicks in. It's about, to me, it's about accepting that clarity sometimes.
Yeah, trusting yourself, right? Really believing in yourself, because no one else is going to have the answers.
Kind of look past that physical realm of like, okay, cool, this can earn me money, but what else is it doing for me?
Yeah.
Is it providing me a sense of solitude or a sense of like confidence?
Beautiful. Love that, mate. Thank you so much. Good. Anybody else? Inner compass, yes.
I think it's self-realization.
Hmm.
Like when you are stuck with wrongs, you can dive out into really bad stuff. So I think this self-realization made me to do like following my tenets, my principles that I should follow. So I think that
Yeah.
basically helped me in molding myself.
Yeah.
So that taught me in the sense of like when I was persistent about that, but still you are holding yourself, you are controlling yourself. You
Yes.
are related to that.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, it's interesting, that concept, self-realization. There's a book that you may have come across, The Science of Self-Realization. And self-awareness is, of course, a big thing, of course, in my industry. And everyone's like trying to understand the self. And really, there are different layers, as we know. So do you really know your body? Do you really know your mind? But do you really know your true self, the spirit soul within? And that's what I love about Christian consciousness. It's the most holistic, scientific approach that I've found in all of my studies. So yeah, when it comes to this inner compass, I think of intuition, I think of inner direction, I think of the inner voice, I think of self-discovery, I think about tapping into your higher consciousness. It's a very, very powerful thing. It's actually a higher form of intelligence. You know, you've got the rational brain, as we know, and we've got the emotional side. So we talk about IQ, we talk about EQ. But SQ is really the other one, which is, you know, that spiritual quotient, really understanding that intuition. So I would like you to discuss again, maybe turning to someone you haven't already spoken to, but if you really like each other, you can speak to the same people again. You know, I could see some anger. As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, I've just made friends with them. Like, please. Comfort zone here. Yeah. So what I wanted to ask you to do this time was to discuss two things. Think of a time in your life when you trusted your inner compass, your inner voice, and when it worked out for you. So maybe kind of rationally, something else was being said, or maybe other people were saying things to you, but you actually did listen to your inner voice and you were guided. It might just be like you saw some gangsters coming and you crossed the road. I mean, you might be like, I can't go that deep, but maybe you did have something deeper. So I'd like you to think about that. Maybe it's a question you've never thought about. And secondly, the broader question is, how do we tune in? Right? The idea of tuning in is finding that frequency. So we know it's there, but how do I actually tune in? So what tools do you have to actually tune in to that inner voice, that inner compass that you know is there within you? So yeah, have a chat with some people. Okay. Okay, if I could get you guys back. Thank you so much. I do know it's hard to stop because I very much opened a can of worms there. It's amazing this still actually works. Yeah, we could try the clap, but okay, we're good. Oh, I was gonna do that thing they do in primary school. Everyone raise your hand, but no. Okay, amazing. Okay, so look, apologies firstly for cutting that conversation short, because I know like you were firstly really getting into it, and it's a deep conversation. It's not something that you can have in 5 minutes, but hopefully it's something for you to think about, and please do continue over lunch, etc. But I'm going to ask for some of your thoughts on this. First, I'm going to read one of my favorite quotes, which I'm sure you have come across before. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Who said that? Yes, Steve Jobs. Very, very powerful. So, yeah, the idea of actually tapping into this is something that many people understand. It's just not many people really know how to do. And a key part of that is going to be blocking out the noise. But all right, let's hear from some of you. So remember, there was 2 questions. Give me an example of when you really managed to listen to your inner voice and it worked out for you. And secondly, what tips do you have for tuning in? So yeah, no really epic stories, because we've only got about 10 minutes left. So you're like one day. But yeah, if we just get to the crux of the story, that would be amazing. So yeah, let's hear from some of you. Yes, at the back there. Yeah, go for it. Love it. Yeah. Amazing. No coincidences, yeah. Amazing. Can we have a round of applause? Because that's pretty good. I mean, in one sense, no one's going to top that, because it's like I listened to my heart and I came to a KC event. So, but amazing. Good. And another example. Yes, go for it, mate. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Along the way, I had to make many decisions. And I was on the other side of the world, so
Yeah.
sometimes there were troubles.
Yeah. Of course.
And it taught me a lot about my spirituality. And
Beautiful.
guided me to achieve a lot for what my purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So let me ask you, in those moments where you were confused and there were challenges along the way, what did you do to really tap into that inner self, that inner guide?
Well, I read somewhere that when you have a difficult decision to make, if you put your hand over your heart and you ask yourself a question,
Yeah.
and you feel your heart slow down to one of the answers, then it's the correct one.
Nice. Nice. Very nice.
I think the first decision that I made was whether to leave the first job that I went into,
Yeah.
because it became overall the mission. And at the time, it was judgmental. The guy that I was traveling with, who was working for Greenpeace, that was the first job I started working for Greenpeace.
Yeah.
He was an alcoholic and he was in a bit of a bad way. And
I feel this is turning into a one-day story. I was with you with the travel, and then it was like Greenpeace, the alcoholic.
That was the first big decision that I had to make. I used that.
Amazing. Really nice, yeah. Yeah, do that. I mean, absolutely, yeah, putting your hand on your heart. I mean, if you feel like weird things, you might want to go to a doctor, but just generally speaking, yeah, it's a nice thing. Really connect to the heart. Okay, amazing. So I'm going to share some tips with you. These are basically all the things that you can find on Google. So these are like your standard personal development tips. But I want to share them, and then having shared them, I want to share what I really want to share, which is Krishna. But let me first talk about these three. So these are my 3 A's. The first A for really finding yourself is obviously analyze yourself. Really understand yourself. And there's different ways that you can do that. You can do that through introspection, different types of meditation, journaling. The idea is that we become conditioned in so many different ways by so many different things that we may actually need to disconnect in the first place. And if we disconnect, then we're able to really reconnect to our true self. But you have to know yourself. And so that might start through different psychometric testing, just really stopping and understanding, who am I? So analyze yourself. Know what your strengths are, know what you're all about, know what your value system is, and then making decisions will be really easy. The second A is ask someone. Now, we all have blind spots. We all have things that we just don't know, and so asking for feedback can be really useful. It's not that everybody that gives you their opinion necessarily knows best. So you still have to apply your intelligence and learn to discriminate. But they may just give you some little inkling that will, shine a light on that period of darkness for you. So ask someone, be confident enough to, always be willing to learn and understand. And if you can do that, then you will also learn something about yourself. And then the final one is probably the one that most people miss. Most people do 1 and 2, but they forget the third one. The third A is attempt. And what I mean by that is finding your purpose or your inner compass is not a theoretical exercise. It's not something that you just kind of sit there and you're like sitting in a nice lotus position, and all of a sudden like, bing, like I got it. That is what I'm meant to be doing with my life. Like, it's going to be a journey. And you're going to have to find, take decisions along the way. Some of those decisions will go wrong, some of them will go right. But the idea is you have to be willing to give it a go. Have that courage. And then when you do find something that is actually your true self or in line with who you are, have the courage to actually live it. I think that's where people massively fall down. With most of my coaching, that's where people are like, yeah, I really know myself. And I'm like, why aren't you doing it? Because I'm scared. Why are you scared? Because I'm scared of failure. I'm scared of what people will think. I'm scared about my own abilities. I doubt myself. So you have to have courage. You have to be willing to give it a go. So these are all the personal development things that you can learn about, and I think that they're really useful for understanding our mind. But we are in this sacred place, and so I wanted to give you another angle, another dimension. And that is to understand that inner compass, that inner voice, is actually a manifestation of God. That's actually a fact. That the absolute truth is made up of 3 different aspects. The Brahman feature, the impersonal feature. The Paramatma, the super soul within our heart. And then Bhagavan, the personal feature of the Lord. Now, God in the heart, the Paramatma, is who the yogis are meditating on, lifetime after lifetime. But the amazing thing is that manifestation of God, that eternal best friend, has always been with us. Lifetime after lifetime, that inner guide is with you. And the Vedic scriptures describe it like 2 birds sitting on a branch of a tree. One bird is just kind of consumed with eating. It's like materialism, just take, go, 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 go. And the other bird is just sitting there, just watching, witnessing everything. And that is the role of the Paramatma. That is the role of the super soul. Krishna within our heart. He's not only witnessing everything we're doing, but he's also waiting patiently for us to simply turn our head towards him. And when we turn our head towards him and actually seek a divine connection, and that connection is made, I tell you, you will feel unstoppable. It's such a powerful feeling, knowing that in my corner, I happen to have the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like if you're like, oh, I know the Mayor of London, that's cool. But if you're like, I know the supreme absolute truth, that's a lot more powerful in terms of strings that he can pull for you in your life. And the idea is the Lord knows you better than you know yourself. And therefore, spiritual life is a really powerful process for connecting with that divine connection. So Krishna obviously is giving this basic teaching to Arjuna that you are in fact an eternal spirit soul. That you are Satchit Ananda, you are eternal, you are full of knowledge and full of bliss. As Kalki said, when you look at people on the train, you may not think that. There's not a huge amount of bliss emanating. But later on, when you have a kirtan and you see when people are singing and dancing, you'll experience it. You're actually going to experience it and you're going to be like, wow, this is a feeling that's different to when I go to the clubs. And why is it a different feeling to the clubs? Because the vibration that you are entering is on a higher dimension. Because you're actually nourishing your soul. You're not just feeding your body. You're not just feeding your mind. You're actually feeding your soul. And one of the things that I love about Krishna consciousness more than anything else is that I could give this whole spiel and then it's like, okay, so what am I meant to do? Like, am I just meant to join the monastery? Like what? Like, just tell me what's the deal? Like, all right, tell me where to shave up. I'm ready. But no, it's the complete opposite. Because actually, in one sense, that's what Arjuna wanted to do on the battlefield. He wanted to run away and he wanted to kind of renounce everything. And what Krishna said to him was, he said, no, you have to understand, you have two duties. You have your Swadharma and your Sanatan Dharma. You have your material duty and also you have your spiritual duty. And both are meant to go hand in parallel. And that's why actually you can be successful with both. But that material duty is actually not just about, it's two things. It's about really understanding your Dharma, which you're going to have a workshop on later on. You know, the Dharma model is based on kind of, well, I would say Ikigai is based on the Dharma model. It's about really understanding, you know, what you like, what you're good at, how you can contribute to the world. So yeah, there's an aspect of understanding what am I meant to be doing in this world. But in addition to that, it's also about changing your consciousness when you are actually doing it. So you may actually be doing the same thing, but you're doing it in a way that's really going to raise the bar for you and make a difference. So that's really all I wanted to say. I'm going to leave a couple of minutes for questions. But yeah, finding your inner purpose is one thing. Tuning into your inner purpose is another thing. The idea is it's there. It's already there. But you have to be proactive in terms of tuning in. And it's not going to be an easy thing to do because we are bombarded by so much every single day. But you're smart. You're in the right place. You're hearing from the right people. And you're already evolved souls. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And that's another fact. So you're on the journey. So continue on. You are the cream of the crop. And I hope in 20 years' time, I'll be sitting here, hopefully as a volunteer, and hearing one of you speak as well. Because that's the way it works. That's absolutely the way it works. You're all on an eternal journey. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here at the start of your journey, at least in this life. You've been doing it before. So yeah, crack on and get to the top. Okay, Hare Krishna.
So thank you, Nanda, for that talk on tuning into your inner compass. We've got time for a couple questions. Has anyone got any questions for Nanda? Yes. Go for it.
Yeah, such a good question. Probably the number one question that comes up. Or the other thing is, yeah, essentially, how do I tell the difference between my intuition and my mind? Because, yeah, they're difficult to differentiate sometimes. I would say that, you have to use all of those tools. And so if you don't make like a knee-jerk reaction, like really understand where is this coming from. So is it coming from a place of fear, for example? And then it's like, oh yeah, that's just my intuition. Is it just a place of fear? Or is there something deeper going on? But it's very difficult to answer that question in isolation without context and understanding it. But just what I would say is you are right to identify that sometimes we can get confused between the two. And you're like, oh yeah, absolutely, that's my intuition. But no, it's just a different form of conditioning. So it takes work to really peel through the layers to get to know yourself. And as I said, it's not an easy process, but you will get there. And you'll get more and more clarity, but it takes work. Cool, thank you.
Time for one last question, yes.
So have you studied law, can't use the words? I'm wondering if you would have done anything differently.
Done anything differently? Well, so like when I look back on my legal career, I don't really look back on it with regret because it allowed me to be where I am now. So it opened a lot of doors for me. It was just what I was meant to go through. So I don't have any regret at all. For example, if I was like, oh yeah, if I was 18 and I wanted to become a coach, I just don't think it would have worked because I had like no life experience. Whereas like when I'm now talking to executives, like I've got a lot of stuff. Like I'm like, yeah, I've been there at 2 a.m. Like I've been there when that manager, went absolutely nuts for no reason at all. I've been there when the client changed their deadline on me when I didn't expect it. I've been there when my secretary had a meltdown and the IT wasn't working, like whatever it was. And so all of those experiences just make it real. And so what I would say is, yeah, I did. It wasn't the right decision, but in a sense, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. So if I could have avoided it, maybe, but I certainly don't look back with any regret. And I'm grateful for the experiences because they've made me who I am today. Okay. Thank you so much.
So yeah, unfortunately that is all the time we have for questions. So can we show our gratitude with a massive round of applause? So just before we move on to the next part of the day, quick plug. We really encourage you to take as many pictures as you can. And when you put them on social media, if you're uploading them to Instagram, please tag Casey Talk National and your local Casey Talk.
I was just going to say, if anyone does want to ask questions, I'm around later on as well. Yeah.
And you can also find the speaker on at Lotus Coach.
At the Lotus Coach.
At the Lotus Coach on Instagram. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to dive straight in and we're going to go off into our groups and into the workshops. So most of you know your team already and you would have that on your wristband, the color. But if you don't know your team, you can speak to any of the Casey Sock members wearing this jumper, or there's a black one as well. So just look out for them. And each team has an assigned leader, so you can ask them any questions that you have. They're there to take you around during the day, and they'll be your port of call. So if any questions about philosophy, about the day, anything, ask them. So let's introduce the team leaders. So the first team we have is the green team, and that's the team that's going to go to the Goshala first. They're doing cow care. So the team leaders for that are Nikita and Drashti. Can we get them to stand up and wave? Is Drashti here? So everyone wearing the green wristband and the green follow Nikita.
Our team leaders are Sujusha, and Tabo, Super and Tabo. There it is. So big team, be stand up and follow Tabo. going to tell people that they've got dinner and gifts in the Saber room, Saber Hall. And then if they want to go and stand or drift back, congregate in the reception.
In the reception, okay.
So if you just stand in the reception.
And do we have the minibus still?
Yeah, it's going to be Krishna and that.
Krishna, okay, cool. And is it just the minibus that's going for the cars as well? Okay, sure. And Hershey bus, fine. So how do I, like what's the communication in the sense of?
So you just stand in the reception as people come in. You can say like, if you want to go stand more, like come over here, like they make a line. You're gonna have multiple trips. Not everyone will be able to run first.
Yeah.
For some reason, people really expected that last time.
Yeah. In the sense of, in terms of my communication with the coaches and.
Oh, I see.
How
Yes.
does that work?
Maybe I will message you. I'll be in contact. So I'll be running around. So stay in the reception room until I'll give the signal to them.
Okay, cool. Great.
Hopefully, Krishna's.
Or is Shivam still here? Yeah. Because he was doing that on the way.
Yeah.
So he can maybe.
He can help you as well. Yeah.
Perhaps. Anyway, I'll leave that to you. Just let me know whatever you need to do.
Okay, amazing.
Any
Thank you so
help
much.
we need to clear up, or you guys okay?
I think these guys want to move the decor.
Are we moving? Anything you need? I know. Are you able to help? So he's going to debunk.
Oh, Jai. Hey, very well. I knew that. How's it going? Good to see you. Do you mind grabbing those trees? I'm going to take this. And then if you could just like move this to the side. What's the first one?
If you can follow Josh. Sorry. Do you want to take this one? Yeah.
I do. So this is the right here, and then this is the left side of the bed.
Yes.
And this will be the flagship.
One second. Next step.
Is that your ability to
will be bhajan kutir.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. There's going to be offering the 12th, right?
Yeah, so curtains will close about 10 to 12, and 12 o'clock will make the offering inside.
Can I sing bhajan?
You can sing bhajan. Set it up.
Is it, should I ask them to sing? Or?
Most of them won't know the bhajan, but you can sing. And if they sing Hare Krishna, then they can do it. But they won't know that.
Or is he just sing Hare Krishna?
No, now I'm going just to sing bhajan.
Okay. So then 12:30 will be the arti.
Okay.
So will you be around 12:30?
Yeah.
He's getting every week he's making it. Do you need this chair or should I put it away?
It was for the case. Oh.
Yeah, this one is on. Just, yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear guests. I'm going to sing a bhajan named Mana Shiksha from Narottam Das Thakur. If you want to participate, you can search for the texts, for the lyrics. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Chaya Gata Jura Nitai Pada Kamala